Hi, welcome back to the Power of Model Drawing. Now today we are going to continue with fractions, and we are going to recognize two different sets in the fractions, and we are also going to revise how we use arrow pointing to draw the model. So let's quickly look at the first example. Now if you look at the first example, now it's a very simple problem, and there's a fraction there. So every time you see a fraction, we always try to draw the model, because fractions always means model drawing. Alright, so let's highlight the keywords. The total cost of a bag and a purse is $35, and the purse costs 3/4 as much as the bag. Now this statement, right, is referring to two different types of things. So which means that the fraction refers to two different sets. Alright, so if you were to notice, there's a numerator and there's a denominator. So what does the numerator refer to? It refers to the first set, alright, the first type, alright, the first type of item. And the denominator will always refer to the second set. Alright, so this fraction refers to two different sets. Alright, and then find the cost of the bag. Alright, so once you recognize what is this fraction about, you can start to draw the model. So it means that the purse, right, the purse has 3 boxes. So you draw a rectangle and you cut into 3 boxes, and the bag has 4 boxes. And you draw a rectangle cut into 4 equal parts. Alright, now you can see that if you are able to interpret the fraction, it is actually quite easy, right, to draw out the problem. And then the total cost of the bag and the purse is $35. And you're asked to find the cost of the bag. So your model drawing will have a question mark. And once you know that there's nothing else to draw, right, or nothing else to cut, you indicate 1 unit into the boxes. And that is how you draw out the problem. Alright, now, then what you do next? After you have drawn the problem, then you study the model and you come up with the unique statements. So if you look at the model, the total cost is also 7 units, which is $35. And then you can find 1 unit, which is 35, divide by 7, and you will get 1 unit, which is $5. And then you look at the question mark. What is the cost of the bag, which costs 4 units? So 4 units will be $5 and then times 4, and that will be $20. And whatever answers you found or numbers you found, add on to the model, and you have solved the problem. Alright? So what does the first example tell you? It tells you that the fraction refers to two different types of things, or two different sets. Okay, now let's go to example 2, and let's read. Now, Lucy has 3 1/3 times as many hair clips as Mary. So this fraction, or the mixed number, we call it the mixed number, it refers to two different persons. Alright, and Mary has 18 hair clips. So how many hair clips do they have all together? Alright, so in this problem, you can see that there's a mixed number, and Lucy has 3 1/3 times as many hair clips as Mary. So you have two different types, or two different sets, or two different persons. Alright, so therefore, what do? Then we will do some arrow pointing. Alright, every time you see fractions, there's always arrow pointing involved. So the fraction could either refer to part of a group, alright, which what we did last lesson, or it could refer to two different groups, or two different sets, or two different persons, or two different types of things. Alright, so how do we do the arrow pointing? It is a mixed number. So how do we arrow point? Now you change the mixed number into an improper fraction. And that's what you learn in primary 4. So you take 3 times 3, you get 9, and then 9 plus 1, you have 10. So 10 over 3, and that is an improper fraction. And then you just rewrite the sentence. Lucy has 10 over 3 as many hair clips as Mary. Alright, now you can do the arrow pointing. So Lucy has 10. The numerator refers to the first person, and the denominator refers to the second person. Alright, and now you can start to draw your model. So it means that Lucy has 10 boxes. So you draw a rectangle, cut into 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And Mary has 3 boxes. Now when you cut your boxes, try to make them proportional. Alright, and then add on, right, whatever details, whatever information that's in the problem, add on, build your model. So Mary has 18 hair clips, so arrow sign and 18. And where's the question mark? How many hair clips do they have all together? And that is your question mark. And if you know that there's nothing else to draw, right, then you can start to indicate one unit into all the boxes. Alright, and that's it. Right, that's how you draw out the model. And once you have finished your drawing, you can start to study the model, look at the model, right, and use the model to solve the problem. So you can see that Mary has 3 units, which is 18. So you can find 1 unit, which is 18, and divide by 3. So your 1 unit is equal to 6. So how many units do they have all together? So you count the units. Lucy has 10 units, Mary has 3 units, so altogether they have 13 units. And how many is 13 units? So you go back to 1 unit, which is 6, and you take 13 times 6, and you will get 78. So they have 78 hair clips altogether. Alright, so it's a very simple problem, not very hard to draw out the model, but you need to recognize what kind of fraction it is. Is it part of a group? Is a fraction referring to part of a group? Or is it referring to 2 different sets or 2 different groups? Okay, now let's go on to practice problem, and I'll give you about 5 minutes to read the problem and to draw out the model. Alright, you can pause the video, and once you have drawn out the model and work out the answer, you can play the video again. Right, so your time starts now. Alright, so have you worked out the answer? So let's read the question. Now the amount of money in Zach's wallet is 4/9 of the amounts in Mary's handbag. So this fraction refers to 2 different things or 2 different types of things. So what do? Then the numerator will always refer to the first type or the first kind of things or the first person. And the denominator will refer to the second person or the second group or the second set. Alright, and then Mary has $25 more than Zach. So how much money does Zach have? Okay, so once you recognize what kind of fraction it is, then we draw the model. So Zach has 4 boxes. So you draw a rectangle, cut into 4 boxes, and Mary has 9. So you draw a little bit longer and cut 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, and that's how you draw out the first sentence. And then Mary has $25 more than Zach. So how much money does Zach have? Which is the question mark, and your model is almost done. So once you know that there's nothing else to draw, then you start to put your 1 unit into the boxes. And then you can look at the model and study the model and see how to write your unit statements. Alright, so if you notice carefully, right, if you look at the model carefully, you can see that Mary has how many units more? So you can see Mary has 9 units, Zach has 4 units, so Mary has 5 units more than Zach. And 5 units more is also $25 more. So your 1 unit will be $25 and then divide by 5. So your 1 unit is $5. And Zach has 4 units. So $5, which is 1 unit, and then you times 4. And you have $20. Right, and whatever numbers you have found, put it into your model. And that's it. Alright, very easy to draw the model, not very hard. So the lesson today is to read the problem, alright, is to see, alright, to look at the fractions and see what kind of fraction it is. Is it part of a group? Or is it referring to 2 different persons or 2 different sets or 2 different types of things? Alright, so once you can identify correctly what the fraction is referring to, then you can draw out the model, and that's how you work out the answer very fast. Alright, so in the coming lesson, we will continue with model drawing on fractions. Alright, so stay tuned to the next lesson.